Could Vinicius Junior really be coming to Arsenal? Let us be honest for a second. When most Arsenal fans first saw the headline linking Vinicius Junior to the Emirates Stadium, a lot of us probably did the same thing. We laughed a little, shook our heads and said something like, come on, that is never happening. You know what, that reaction is completely fair, because for years Arsenal was not the kind of club that got linked to the best player in the world. We were not that club. But things have changed, and right now in April 2026, that story is not just a rumour, it is a serious conversation happening at the highest levels of football. So let us sit down together as a community and break all of this down properly. No clickbait, no hype without facts, just a real look at what is going on, what it means, and whether we should actually believe any of it. Here at Olivia's Sports Arsenal, we do not do half-truths, we give you the full picture. First, how did we even get here? To understand this story, you need to understand what is happening at Real Madrid right now. Vinicius Junior has been at the club since 2018. He arrived as a teenager and slowly became one of the most important players at the biggest club in the world. He won the Champions League with them, he won the Ballon d'Or, he scored in finals. He is by any measure one of the top 2 or 3 players on the planet right now. But here is the problem. His contract at Real Madrid runs until June 2027. That is not too far away. And Real Madrid, being Real Madrid, do not want to lose their best player for free when that deal ends. So they started talking to him about a new contract, one that would keep him at the club until 2031. The talks have stalled. Reports say the issue is money. Vinicius is asking for somewhere around 20 to 22 million euros net per year. That is a massive number. Real Madrid, even with all their wealth, are reportedly not comfortable meeting that demand yet. And so what was supposed to be a simple contract renewal has turned into a standoff. Now, Real Madrid face a very uncomfortable choice. Either they agree to his demands and keep him, or they sell him this summer of 2026, rather than risk losing him for nothing in a year. And that is where Arsenal and several other big clubs have entered the picture. So here is a question for you, Olivia's Sports Arsenal family. Do you think Real Madrid will actually let Vinny Jr. leave, or is all of this just a negotiating tactic to get him to sign a new deal? Let us know what you think in the comments. What Arsenal's position actually looks like right now. Let us talk about where Arsenal stand as a club right now, because this context is everything when thinking about a transfer this big. As things stand in April 2026, Arsenal are top of the Premier League table with 70 points from 33 games. They have 21 wins, 7 draws and only 4 losses. They are 6 points clear of Manchester City in second place with 5 games left to play. The odds of Arsenal winning their first Premier League title in over 20 years have never been higher. That matters for one very simple reason. Winning the title changes everything about a club's ability to attract the best players. It is not just about money. It is about prestige, momentum, and the feeling that something special is happening. If Arsenal lift that trophy in May, they walk into the summer transfer window as Premier League champions. And that is a very different conversation to have with a player like Vinicius Junior compared to a club that finished 3rd or 4th. Reports say Arsenal are considered among the frontrunners for Vinny Junior's signature if he does leave Real Madrid. Some outlets have even used the word favourites. Now, we should be careful here. Transfer windows produce a lot of noise, and a lot of that noise turns out to be nothing. But the fact that Arsenal's name keeps coming up in serious reports is not nothing. Intermediaries, which are basically agents who connect clubs and players, have reportedly been in touch with Arsenal along with other English clubs to let them know that Vinny Jr. could be available. This is how big transfers begin. Nobody picks up the phone and says, come buy our best player. It starts quietly with middlemen testing the water. The money problem, can Arsenal actually afford this? Now let us get into the part that everyone is thinking about, but some people are afraid to say out loud. The money. Real Madrid are reportedly looking for a transfer fee of up to 250 million euros if they decide to sell Vinicius Jr. Let that number sit for a moment. 250 million euros. That would be the biggest transfer fee in the history of football by a long way. Most analysts who look at his actual market value put it somewhere between 100 and 150 million euros. So Real Madrid's asking price of 250 million is basically them saying, we do not really want to sell, but if someone wants to pay that insane amount, then fine. It is a wall they are building to make a deal almost impossible. Then there is the wages. Vinny Jr. wants around 20 to 22 million euros net every year. To put that in context, that would make him by far the highest paid player in Arsenal's history. The club has always been relatively careful with wages compared to some of the other top clubs. Paying one player that kind of money would be a major shift in how they operate. So what could make this work financially? A few things come to mind. Arsenal could structure the fee over several years, spreading the payments to reduce the immediate impact. They could sell players to raise funds. And then there is the swap deal rumour that has been doing the rounds. Thinking about this honestly, do you think Arsenal have the financial power to pull off a deal of this size? Or would it stretch the club too far? The Olivia Sports Arsenal comment section is the place to share your view. The Martinelli swap rumour, what do we make of it? One of the most interesting and honestly confusing parts of this whole story is the rumour about a potential swap deal involving Gabriel Martinelli. The idea, at least as reported by some outlets, is that Arsenal could offer Martinelli as part of the deal to bring down the cash fee they would need to pay. Martinelli is a young Brazilian winger. Real Madrid have a known preference for Brazilian talent. On paper, you can kind of see why this idea exists, but let us think about this carefully. Martinelli has been a key part of what Arsenal have built under Mikel Arteta. He has had seasons of real brilliance. His value is estimated somewhere in the range of 60 to 80 million euros. Losing him as part of this deal would mean Arsenal are essentially trading one very good winger for the best winger in the world with a large cash top-up. In theory, that is an upgrade, but there are real questions here. Is Martinelli willing to go to Real Madrid? What does it do to the dressing room? And would it actually make the deal affordable? Or would Arsenal still need to pay a massive fee on top of the swap? It is worth saying clearly that this swap rumour is at the speculative end of things. No concrete reports suggest Arsenal and Real Madrid have sat down and agreed to this structure. It is more of a creative solution that people are discussing when they try to figure out how a deal could possibly happen. Would you be okay with Martinelli leaving if it meant getting Vinicius Jr.? This is a genuine debate question for the Olivia Sports Arsenal family. There is no wrong answer here. Who else is in the race? Arsenal's competitions. Let us not get too excited without being realistic. Arsenal are not the only club in this conversation, not by a long shot. Manchester United and Chelsea have both been linked with Vini Jr. and are reportedly capable of making record-breaking offers. Manchester City, despite their recent struggles, still have the resources to compete. Liverpool have also been mentioned as clubs that intermediaries have contacted about his availability. And then there is the Saudi Pro League. This one cannot be ignored. Saudi Arabia are preparing to host the 2034 World Cup, and they have made no secret of their desire to bring the biggest names in football to their league as part of that project. Vinicius Jr. has been identified as one of their primary targets. The wages they could offer would be almost impossible for any European club to match. Now, here is an interesting thing to consider. Most serious footballers at the age of 25 or 26, which is where Vinny Jr. is at right now, are not thinking about going to Saudi Arabia. They are thinking about winning trophies, competing at the highest level, and being remembered as one of the greats. The Saudi option tends to be more appealing when a player is older or when European clubs are not making serious enough offers. If Vinny Jr. is serious about his legacy, he stays in Europe. And that puts Arsenal back in the conversation alongside the other elite clubs. Out of all the clubs linked with Vinny Jr., which one do you think is most likely to actually sign him? Arsenal, one of the other English clubs, or the Saudi League? Share your pick with the Olivia Sports Arsenal community. What Vinny Jr. would actually mean for Arsenal, let us take a moment to actually imagine it. What would Vinny Jr. look like in an Arsenal shirt? Arsenal right now are a very good team. They are top of the league. They have a strong structure under Arteta. They press hard, they move quickly, and they have quality all over the pitch. But the one area where most honest Arsenal fans would admit they are not at the very highest level is in individual match-winning ability. When games get tight in big European nights, Arsenal sometimes lack that player who can just take the ball and do something that nobody else can do. Vinicius Jr. is exactly that kind of player. He is fast, he dribbles past defenders like they are standing still, he scores in big games, he scored in Champions League finals, he won the Ballon d'Or. Putting him in an Arsenal team that is already well organised and tactically sharp would be a genuinely terrifying combination for other teams. Think about Saka on the right, Vinny Jr. on the left, with Havertz or whoever is playing as the number 9 through the middle. That front line would be one of the best in European football, not just in England, in Europe. And the commercial impact would be massive too. Arsenal would instantly become one of the most talked about clubs on the planet. Shirt sales, sponsorship deals, global media attention. Signing Vinny Jr. would not just make Arsenal better on the pitch, it would announce to the world that Arsenal are truly back at the very top. The honest reality check, now let us be fair to ourselves and not get completely carried away, because this is still a very difficult deal to imagine happening, and here is why. The price is the biggest obstacle. If Real Madrid are genuinely asking for 250 million euros, no club in the world is paying that right now. Even the richest clubs in England would have to think very carefully about spending that much on one player. it would represent more than double what Arsenal have ever spent on any single signing before. There is also the question of whether Vinny Jr. himself wants to come to Arsenal. Wanting to stay in Europe is one thing. Choosing Arsenal over other traditional giants is a different question entirely. Arsenal have momentum right now, but they are not yet in the same conversation historically as some of those clubs. And there is always the possibility that all of this is Real Madrid using the transfer market as leverage. Maybe none of this is real. Maybe Real Madrid are leaking stories about interest from other clubs to pressure Vinicius into signing a new deal. That is a very old trick in football, and it works more often than people admit. So where does that leave us? The honest answer is this: the move is possible. It is not just a fantasy. There are real conditions under which it could happen. But there are also plenty of ways it does not happen, and Arsenal fans should not plan their summer around it. Final thoughts: dream big but stay grounded. Here is what we know for certain right now. Arsenal are top of the Premier League and pushing for their first title in a generation. Vinicius Jr. is in a contract standoff with Real Madrid. His name is genuinely being mentioned in connection with several top English clubs, Arsenal included, and the football world is watching closely to see how this story develops over the next few months. For Arsenal fans, this is what the club being truly competitive looks like. A few years ago, we were not in these conversations at all. The fact that Vinny Jr.'s name and Arsenal's name are appearing in the same sentences in serious football reports is itself a sign of how far this club has come. Whether it happens or not, the ambition is real, the progress is real, and the summer of 2026 looks like it is going to be one of the most exciting and important windows in Arsenal's recent history. To everyone reading this on Olivia Sports Arsenal, keep dreaming big. Not the reckless kind of dreaming, but the grounded kind that comes from watching your club actually build something real and sustainable. We are in a good place, and who knows what this summer brings. As always, share your thoughts below. Do you want this to happen? Do you think it will happen? And most importantly, what would Vinicius Jr. in an Arsenal shirt mean to you personally? Olivia Sports Arsenal is your space to speak freely. Come on, you Gunners.